What's up, boys? Today I'm gonna be talking about how you can find your pen grip in Osu. So, the thing is, I think I have enough experience to talk about this because I've been struggling with my pen grip for maybe 2 years now, and I've been changing it a ton. And finally, I found it just earlier. So I really wanted to share how I kind of found it by not by trial and error, right? But actual like um logical decisions. So now you have to look at your finger length first. So mine are actually my fingers are quite long compared to my actual hand size. So what I would consider long fingers are fingers that actually are longer than your hand from the side of your pinky finger to the other side of your thumb. So from here to here, if it's shorter or than the average size of your age group or your gender or sex, yeah, you would consider yourself to have a small hand. And if your finger length is about longer or equal to the average size of your sex or age, then yeah, you have long fingers, right? So I consider myself to have long fingers and small hands, and I even have thin fingers as well, which makes it a bit hard to pivot against anything without kind of hurting the bones inside. So yeah, my fingers are literally gene locked to be very to have a lot of troubles holding this pen. So what I essentially did with this CTL 472 tablet, right, is that because the pen is so thin, I had to apply not just the grip tape, the pink grip tape you see outside, but some layers of paper tape inside as well. As you can see, there's a little bit of paper tape inside there. And I rolled I think I used 2 rolls of paper tape. Actually, no, I rolled the pen 2 times with paper tape so that it's just thick enough. So you will have to experiment with that if you have a CTL 472 pen and you have very long fingers. You will have to tape it like me so that your pen is thicker. And so that's for people with long fingers. For people with shorter fingers, I think only the layer of grip tape or badminton grip tape will be fine for you. And for people with bigger hands, they will be able to rest the pen closer to the index finger. So for people with smaller hands and longer fingers like me, I will have to, when I use a quadrupod grip, for example, I will have to rest it closer to this joint, the bottom joint of the index finger. But for people with bigger hands, they will actually be able to rest it. Not necessarily bigger hands, but people with normal hand to finger length ratio, something like that. Like Emrek, for example, has slightly bigger hands than me, but he has shorter fingers, so he can do something like this. He rests the pen very close to the second joint of the index finger, and then he can wrap the thumb around like this, and it's very, very comfortable for him. But as you can see, when I hold the pen literally like automatically leans back to the last joint because my hands can't take this. This is very uncomfortable for me because it's very cramped in the fourth finger. So when can you use a tripod grip? This is the tripod grip, and I would actually suggest people with like I would suggest people with shorter fingers to use this. Why? Because of people with longer fingers. They won't have this. They can't do the second joint resting thing, and that's gonna make it very first of all, it will make it very insecure, kind of, and it's gonna cramp your middle finger. So for people with longer fingers than your hand size, it's gonna be quite difficult to get used to this pen grip, unless you kind of rest it down here, maybe. And you could try to do this, but of course, the middle finger might not be an appropriate like anchor for you. You might want to use the more stable ring finger instead, right? Okay, so that's with quadrupod grip and finger positioning and whatever. And now, what about tablet, or like how high should you hold the tablet pen? Well, it's very simple. You just have to play the game normally, and then for after a 10-minute session or whatever, where your fingers land is gonna be your natural height, and you would want to stick with that, right? You need to stick with that. This is my natural height. So when I drop the pen and then hold it again, this is just my natural height. It's very comfortable, and I rest it right here. I rest it on this side, or yeah, the close to the third joint of the index finger. That's how I hold it. So what next? Table height. You need to know about your table height. This might be the highest like priority for you, because table height matters a lot, even in like other games like FPS games and games that require lots of mouse movement. Yeah, so what you want to essentially do is sit up very, very straight in your chair, and I want you to kind of loosen up your shoulder. Kind of don't actively droop it, just sit up very straight, like you were in a French kitchen, like that girl from Ratatouille told you. Yeah, sit up straight like that, and then try to move your arm on the table. And if you need any sort of movement from your shoulder, then essentially your table is too high up. And if when you're playing the game, your back tends to like slouch a bit, that means your table's too low. So I want you to find the perfect height. So when you do the little shoulder test that I told you, rest your shoulder and then sit very straight, up straight. Move your arm on the table, and if it perfectly comes on the table like I just did, then excellent, you have the perfect table height. And what a good table height essentially does for you is that it removes all of the pressure from your shoulders. And if you watched my last video, you would know that the shoulder is very immobile, and you would not want to engage it in any shape or form. So that's with table height. Now, what about tablet positioning? So there are lots of options for you for tablet positioning, but I think what the number one player MRipe is doing now is, I think, the best posture. So what I want you to do is sit, have your stomach almost touching the table. Not almost, but is touching the table. Here's my stomach right here. I'm actually touching the table with my stomach a little bit. And I'm sitting up straight, very straight. And now, put your tablet where it is, where your grip, when you place your grip, the thing that is resting against the edge of the table is the forearm part right next to your elbow, right here. Bang. And this is my natural grip, and now, bang. There's literally no stress on my shoulders. My fingers are extremely loose. And of course, if there's any tightness in your fingers, for example, if you have any tightness on the thumb or the index finger, you'll move your tablet to the right. You move your tablet to the right by only incrementally, right? Very little at a time, because your index finger, your thumb are the left are positioned left of your hand. So if you have your pen, if you have your tablet too far to the right, actually, if you have your tablet too far to the right, what it does is that when you try to move your tablet pen to the left, there's tons of pressure on the thumb and the index finger. So if there's stress on the left parts of your tablet, that you will have to move your tablet to the left. I think I misspoke earlier. And if there's any pressure on the right side, like your pinky and your ring fingers, then you'll move your tablet on the right. So, for example, my pen grip, it's a quadrupod grip right here. It's a quadrupod grip. So if, for example, I'm feeling very cramped on these two fingers, the ring and the pinky finger, I will move my entire tablet to the right, just a little bit, until there's no stress on that anymore. And you would try to balance the pressure between the left fingers and the right fingers. So the left fingers are middle, index, thumb, and the right fingers are these guys, ring and the little finger. Bang. Okay. What can I talk about next? We got tablet pen thickness. We know about your hand size, tablet positioning, how far away it is from the edge of the table, how far left or right it is. What about your area? Your area is actually quite important, right? So your area should allow you to reach all corners very without any sort of pressure or if you feel any sort of pressure, then your tablet grip is a little bit off. So or your area is a bit off, right? So you would want to reduce or increase your height or increase your width. So if you're having trouble hitting the corners, then you would want to reduce your width, right? But if you're having trouble to just move up and down and anywhere vertically, then you would reduce your height. You can reduce both at the same time if you want, but most likely you will have this trouble of reaching the corners, and reducing height, I mean reducing width will be enough. You would want to keep the width height ratio to about 1.5, because that's actually most natural to the human hand. A lot of people spread the almost misinformation about how 1.777 is the better ratio, because it's correct. It's the ratio of your monitor area, right? But for the human hand, it's more natural to use 1.5, right? For example, 60 width and 45 height is 1.5, if I think. Is that true? I don't know. I can't do math, but yeah, something like that, where there's not too much height. I mean, there's a bunch of height compared to the width, and I would suggest not having the height value higher than the width value, because that's that's a bit outrageous in my opinion. It is possible, but width should always be higher than height, but not too much higher, right? They should stay at a 1.5 ratio. So I think that's all I wanted to say for this video. Of course, if you got any troubles, please state them in the comments. I will try to answer as many questions as possible, and I'll answer all of them for sure. I got the time and I can put the effort in, okay? So I endorse the CTL 472 by Wacom as well. It's pretty good. But there are other options. There are other options like the S620. Actually, that's the only thing that really comes close. You could also buy on Facebook Marketplace or something some secondhand Wacom Pro tablets, and they will be better than 472. So do that. But if you want to buy like a super on sale brand new CTL 472, then that is also recommended. So yeah, that's the video.